Elon Musk comes home weary from work, expecting quiet. Instead, he finds his son, X, weeping, a wilted daisy in hand. The boy's small sorrow, pure raw, stops him cold. Not a plan, not a dream, but a tearful truth, what X says. Next unravels a titan, planting a seed that changes everything. Elon Musk eases his Tesla into the driveway of his modest Austin home. The engines hum fading under a dusky sky, starry with purple and gold. The day's wait clings endless, meetings, supply chain, snarls a blur of plans that kept him late again. His shoulders slump keys, jangling as he steps out. The warm Texas air, carrying the faint scent of cedar and grass. He expects a quiet house. X, his 5-year-old son, likely tucked in by the nanny dinner cold on the counter. The porch light flickers a soft glow on the wooden steps, and he trudges up briefcase in hand, mind still half in a boardroom. He pushes the door open, the creak loud in the stillness, and drops his bag by the coat rack, loosening his tie. X he calls soft, expecting no answer. Bedtime's long past, the living room's dark TV off toys, scattered like forgotten plans. He heads for the kitchen, flipping on the light, fluorescence hum, casting a stark glow over the tiled counter. A sink full of dishes, a half-eaten apple browning by the fridge. He pauses, a faint sound catching him. A hiccup, a sniffle coming from the corner near the pantry. Elon turns, brow furrowing, and steps closer. His loafers soft on the linoleum. They're curled on the floor against the wall, his X. His small frame hunched in a gray hoodie hood. Up knees, drawn tight. Tears glint on his cheeks. His hands clutching something, a wilted daisy, its petals. Drooping stem bent, X, Elon says, voice low, dropping to one knee, his briefcase forgotten. Hey buddy, what's wrong? He expects a tumble. A bad dream, something small to soothe with a quick fix, a hug, a promise. X looks up, blue eyes red-rimmed his lip, trembling. I picked it for you. He sobs, voice breaking. Holding out the daisy, its yellow heart, faded petals, limp like a broken toy. But it died. I didn't know. It needed to stay. The words spill raw. His small finger shaking, and Elon's chest tightens. A jolt he doesn't expect. His usual will get another stuck in his throat. The kitchen's light harshens, X's tears. The daisies wilt a quiet stab, and Elon sits, legs folding awkwardly on the floor, pulling X closer, the flower trembling between them. It's okay. He tries, voice rough, but X shakes his head, sobbing harder. I wanted to make you happy, he whispers. But it's gone, Elon's heart twists. He'd chase big things. Work dreams always moving, building a life he thought was grand enough for them both. But X's grief, it died, cuts deeper than any setback. A child's sorrow for a flower's loss hitting like a truth he'd missed. He'd rushed meetings, plans always away. But this daisy, this tear, slows him, a quiet he'd overlooked. He wipes X's cheek, thumb gentle. The daisy's stem soft in his hand. You did make me happy, he says, low his voice, catching just by trying. He'd seen life as a race, busiest, biggest, but X's love for this small thing cracks it. A faith and care he'd let slip. The kitchen silence wraps them. Dishes untouched, apple browning. A world paused as he holds X. The daisies wilt a mirror to moments he'd let fade. I didn't know. X hiccups, and Elon's throat burns. He'd pushed, aimed high, but missed this. A lesson intending he'd ignored. He shifts, sitting cross-legged, X in his lap, the floor cool beneath them. We'll figure it out, he murmurs, voice soft. The daisy fragile between their hands. He'd fix problems, crises, delays, but this feels different. A wound not solved, but held. X's sobs ease his small body, leaning in, and Elon stares at the flower, yellow faint petals, curling a truth he hadn't faced. He'd been the doer, always. His days a storm of tasks, but X's tears shifted. A quiet he drowned, now rising. The kitchen clock ticks 8 p.m., and Elon stays ignoring the phone buzzing in his bag. A call he'd take another night. He'd built big grand plans, but this Daisy's loss unravels him. X's make you happy a weight he carries now? Tell me about it. He says, soft nodding to the flower, and X sniffles. It was pretty yellow like the sun. Elon smiles faint. Sounds like you. X's eyes flicker a spark, and Elon holds him closer. The daisy, a quiet bridge between them. He'd rushed always forward, but X's grief grounds him, a faith in. Small joys he'd let wilt. The kitchen's light softens fluorescence dimming as he flicks to a warmer bulb, and he mutters, unbelievable. Gruff not to X, but to himself. The daisy's lesson sinking in. He'd been the builder, his life, a roar, but this cracks it. A child's tear showing a care he'd missed, he stays. X's breathing slowing the flower still in hand. A crack opening not loud, but real. A man wondering what else he'd let fade in the rush he'd made his world. The kitchen's warm light bathes Elon Musk and his 5-year-old son, X, as they sit on. The linoleum floor, the wilted daisy, its petals drooping stem bent, cradled in X's small hands, tears still glint on X's cheeks. His gray hoodie damp from crying, but his sobs have softened, his small body nestled against Elon's chest. The words, I picked it for you, but it died. Echo in Elon's mind a quiet stab that's held him here. His briefcase abandoned by the door. The days rush fading into the stillness of this moment. He'd found X curled in the corner, grieving a flower he'd meant as a gift, and now holding him, Elon feels a crack. He hadn't known was there. A weight heavier than any plan he'd chased. He brushes X's hair, back voice, low, you made me happy, buddy. Just by caring, X sniffles, blue eyes flickering up, but it's gone. Elon's throat tightens. He'd lived fast, always, building always away, thinking his work was enough for them both. But X's sorrow, it died, cuts deeper than any missed deadline. A child's love for a daisy's life, piercing his relentless drive. We can't fix this one. He says soft, holding the flower, its yellow heart faded, but we can make more. X's eyes widen a spark, and Elon stands lifting him. The daisy tucked in X's fist, a small broken thing they carry together. He glances at the clock, 8:30 p.m. The kitchen's dishes untouched, an apple browning on the counter, but none of it matters. Come on, he says gruff, but gentle, and leads X through the back door, the screen creaking as they step into the yard. The Austin night wraps them cool air, crickets, humming moonlight silvering the grass. The backyard's simple patchy lawn, a lone oak, a flower bed, May had started years ago. Now overgrown with weeds, Elon sets X down the boy's sneakers, sinking into the earth, and kneels his slacks, staining green. Let's plant something, he says, voice steady for the daisy. X clutches the flower hesitant, but it's dead, he whispers. And Elon nods, hand on his shoulder. Yeah, but we can grow new ones, make it happy. He'd rushed work, plans never pausing, but X's tears slow him, of faith and care. He lets slip. He grabs a trowel from a rusty shed, its blade dull, and digs into the flower bed, dirt crumbling under moonlight. X watches then. Drops to his knees, setting the daisy aside his small hands, scooping earth. Like this, he asks, and Elon smiles faint. Exactly. Messy's okay. They work silent but together, moonlight glinting on the trowel, dirt smudging X's hoodie. Elon's tie, loose around his neck. He'd build big, grand dreams, but this feels different. A small act. A child's sorrow guiding his hands. We need seeds, Elon says and rummages in the shed, finding a dusty packet. Daisy's May's handwriting on the label. For sunny days, his chest catches her voice, her faith a quiet he'd pushed. Past and he returns, tearing it open, the seeds tiny in his palm. Here he says, handing some to X. Put them in. X sprinkles them, careful. His tears dry. Now a focus settling dirt under his nails. Moonlight on his face. Will they grow? He asks. And Elon nods gruff. They'll try, we'll help. He'd seen life as a race, busiest, biggest. But X's question shifts it. A lesson intending not just winning. They pat the soil hands, pressing earth flat. The wilted daisy lay gently atop like a marker. A promise for you, Hex whispers. Not to Elon, but to the flower. And Elon's throat burns. He'd miss this. A care so small it's vast. The night deepens, crickets louder, stars bright, and Elon sits back, X leaning into him, the trowel beside them. You okay? He asks soft. And X nods. Yeah, it's not alone now. Elon's heart twists. He'd run always forward, but X's faith in a flower's rest cracks it, a quiet he drowned out. He'd been the doer, his life a roar, but this grounds him. A child's love for a daisy's life. A truth he hadn't faced. You're right, he murmurs. Voice low, it's got friends. X's small hand grips his dirt, smearing, and Elon holds tight, the yard a haven he hadn't known he needed. He'd planned to check emails, calls, plans, but the phone stays silent. His bag untouched inside. The kitchen's light spills faintly through the window, but they stay moonlight silvering their faces, the flower bed, a small patch of hope. Tell me about the daisy. Elon says gruff, and X's voice lifts. It was bright like a smile. Elon chuckles soft like yours. X grins faint, and Elon's chest warms. He'd built grand things, but this dirt, this boy feels bigger. A faith in care. He'd let wilt. They sit X's head drooping, his breathing slowing, and Elon carries him inside, the daisy's marker. Left behind, a quiet vow. He tucks X into bed hoodie, still on, and pauses hand on his son's hair. Sleep tight, he whispers gruff, and steps out, the house silent but alive. Crickets through the window, dishes waiting. He'd rushed always away, but X's tears shifted. A lesson in staying he hadn't learned. He sits on the porch, stars above, and mutters, unbelievable, gruff, the daisy's weight sinking in a crack opening. Not grand, but true a man, rethinking everything in the quiet of a planted seed. The first light of dawn creeps over the Austin horizon, painting the front porch of Elon Musk's modest home, in soft pinks and golds. The air still cool with night's lingering breath. Elon sits on the wooden steps, a chipped mug of coffee steaming in his hands, his gray t-shirt rumpled from a sleepless night. X, his 5-year-old son, sleeps inside, tucked under a blanket after their moonlit planting. Daisy seeds pressed into the backyard's flower bed. The wilted daisy laid atop as a quiet. Marker, the memory of X's tears. I picked it for you, but it died. Clings to Elon, a gentle ache that's kept him here. The kitchen's dishes still untouched. His phone silent in his pocket. He'd held X close last night, promising to grow new flowers. A vow that felt bigger than the earth they'd patted down. A crack in his relentless drive he's only starting to feel. He sips the coffee bitter on his tongue and glances at the flower bed across the yard. It's fresh soil, a dark patch under the oak shadow. He'd rushed work plans, always away building a life he thought was enough. But X's sorrow for a daisy's loss had slowed him. A child's grief piercing his forward march. Unbelievable, he mutters. Gruff, the word a reflex softer now the porch is quiet. Wrapping him a creak of wood, a hum of crickets fading. He'd been the doer, his days a storm of tasks. But X's I wanted to make you happy. Shifts it of faith and care he'd let wilt a lesson he's carrying into this morning. The screen door squeaks, and X steps out barefoot, his gray hoodie loose eyes. Puffy but bright. Dad, he says, voice small. Clutching a plastic watering can, its spout chipped from play. Elon sets the mug down, a faint smile tugging, hey, buddy, up early, huh? X nods, shuffling closer. The can bumping his leg, for the daisies, he says, pointing to the flower bed, so they don't die too. Elon's chest tightens, X's care so small, so fierce, echoes last night's tears. A weight he hadn't known he needed. Good thinking, he says gruff, but gentle, standing to join him. The porch steps creaking as they descend to the grass. They cross the yard, duetting X's toes. Elon's sneakers sinking into the soft earth, the flower bed waiting under dawn's glow. X kneels, careful pouring water from the can. Slow, uneven splashes his brow, furrowed like a gardener's. Like this, he asks. And Elon crouches beside him, hand steadying the can, perfect gentle so they feel it. He'd built big grand dreams, but this feels vast. A child's hope guiding his hands. They water the soil, dirt darkening. The wilted daisy's marker, damp but untouched. A quiet promise holding fast. X sits back, wiping his hands on his hoodie, and looks. Up, eyes wide, will they grow today? Elon chuckles soft. Not yet, takes time, buddy. We'll keep helping. X nods serious, and Elon's heart twists. He'd raced always forward, but X's patience cracks it, a lesson in waiting he'd never learned. Okay, X says, setting the can down, I'll check tomorrow. Elon ruffles his hair. Gruff deal. We're in this together. The yard stillness wraps them, grass rustling, a bird chirping. A piece he'd missed in his rush, a shadow moves across the street. A neighbor, Mrs. Carter, an older woman with silver hair, watering her own flowers in. A faded apron, she waves curious and crosses over her sandals, slapping the pavement. Morning Elon X, she calls voice, warm pausing by the fence. What's got you two out so early? X looks up shy, and Elon answers. Gruff, planting X's idea. Daisies, Mrs. Carter smiles, leaning on the fence, her eyes soft on X. Daisies? Huh, my mama loved those, said their smiles. You can grow. X perks up, clutching the can. Mine died, he says. Voice small, but we're making more. Mrs. Carter's smile deepens, a knowing glint. That's the spirit. Keep tending. They'll come Elon's throat. Catches X's, I didn't know it needed to stay echoes. Her words a mirror to his son's care. A faith in nurturing, he'd sideline, he's teaching me. Elon says gruff, surprising himself, and she nods. Kids do that. Show us what we forget. X beams, dirt smudged on his cheek, and Elon's chest worms. He'd pushed, aimed high, but this yard, this talk feels bigger. They chat. Mrs. Carter shares a trick. Water slow, let it sink, and X listens, nodding his can tilted like hers. Elon watches coffee, forgotten the morning's light pooling around them. Oak. Leaves swaying, dew glinting. He'd been the builder his life, a roar, but X's tears shifted. A quiet he drowned, now rising. Thanks, he says gruff as she waves off her apron fluttering. An X tugs his hand. Can we do it slow? Elon nods soft. Yeah, slow's good. They kneel again, watering hands. Muddy the flower bed. A small vow under dawn's glow. The sun climbs, warming the air, and X yawns. Leaning into Elon's side, tired Elon asks, and X shakes his head stubborn. Got to stay for the daisies? Elon chuckles low. You're tougher than me, kid. He'd rushed. Always away, but X's grit cracks it, a lesson in staying he'd missed. They sit, X's head drooping, the can tipped beside them, dirt smearing their hands. Tell me about the daisy again. Elon says soft, and X's voice lifts. It was yellow like a light. Elon's eyes sting. He'd built grand things, but this boy, this flower, feels vast. A faith in care he'd let fade, they stay, the yard waking. Birds chirping, a dog barking down the street. X's breathing, slowing his small frame heavy against Elon. He'd planned calls work waiting, but the phone stays off his bag. Untouched inside. The flower bed soil glistens, a quiet hope, and Elon mutters, unbelievable. Gruff not to X, but to himself. The daisy's lesson sinking deeper, a crack widening, not loud but true. He carries X inside the boy's head, Ling, and pauses, hand on the door. The morning's light, a gentle weight. A man rethinking everything rooted in a seed's small promise. The late afternoon sun bathes Austin in a golden haze. Its warmth softening the edges of a small park, a short walk from Elon Musk's home where he strolls beside his 5-year-old son X. The park's paths wind past a playground, swings creaking kids laughing, and a quiet garden patch dotted with wildflowers, their colors vivid against the green. X clutches his chipped plastic watering can, his gray hoodie steery with dirt from this morning's tending. His blue eyes bright, despite the yawn he stifles. Elon carries a paper bag of gardening tools, a towel, gloves, a seed packet, his jeans smudged from kneeling in their backyard, the wilted daisy's memory, a gentle weight in his chest. X's tears from last night I picked it for. You, but it died. And their moonlit planting linger a crack in Elon's relentless drive, widened by this morning's quiet care, almost there. Elon says, voice gruff but soft, glancing at X, who nods the can, bumping his leg. They'd watered the flower bed at dawn. X's small hands pouring slow. Miss Carter's advice let it sink, echoing in their careful splashes. Now prompted by X's eager, can we see flowers grow, they've come here. The park's garden. A chance to nurture something beyond their yard. A step Elon hadn't planned, but feels right, he'd rushed. Work plans, always away, building a life he thought was grand. But X's sorrow for a daisy's loss slows him. A child's faith in care reshaping his stride. They reach the garden. A small plot ringed by benches. Daisies and marigolds nodding in the breeze. And X kneels, setting the can down his fingers, brushing the soil. Like ours, he asks, and Elon crouches, nodding. Yeah, buddy, same idea. Keep them happy. X smiles faint and pours water, careful not to flood his focus, a mirror of last night's planting. Elon watches, trowel idle in his hand, the park's hum, kids shouting, a dog barking, fading as X's quiet work pulls him in. He'd been the doer. His day is a storm, but this cracks it, a lesson intending he'd let slip. A shadow crosses the path. May Musk, silver hair, catching the sun. Steps from a rental car parked nearby. Her flowered scarf fluttering as she waves Elon X. She calls voice warm with her South African lilt, her unexpected arrival a jolt. Elon stands gruff. Mom, what are you doing here? She smiles, joining them, her eyes soft on X, who beams Grandma, and hugs her legs, the tipping, but held tight, surprise. She says, ruffling X's hair, heard you were planning, thought I'd see it. Elon's brow lifts. He texted her briefly this morning. A vague X's teaching me stuff, not expecting this planning, huh? May says, kneeling beside X, her skirt brushing the dirt, daisies like mine. X nods, eager, ours died, but we're making new ones for Dad. Her smile deepens, a knowing glint, and Elon's throat catches Hex's. I wanted to make you happy. Echoes May's presence, a mirror to his son's care. A faith and nurturing he'd pushed past. He told me, she says, glancing at Elon. About the flower, got you good, didn't it? Elon mutters gruff. Yeah, kids got away. X pours more water, oblivious. His small hand steady, and May watches soft. He's got your heart, sees what matters. Elon shifts troweling, hand the park's breeze cool on his face. Didn't see it till now, he says, low, surprising himself. And May's eyes meet his steady. You were busy happens, but you're here. Her words land here. A truth he'd missed in his rush. He'd built big grand dreams, but X's tears shifted. A daisy's loss, showing a care he'd let. Wilt, tell me, she says, soft nodding to X, and Elon exhales gruff. He cried. Picked it for me? Thought it'd make me smile. Broke him when it died. X looks up, shy. I didn't know. It needed roots. May chuckles, warm. None of us do first time they work. X watering, May weeding, Elon digging small holes for extra seeds. May brought her packet labeled daisies for X. The garden hums. Kids running. A swing squeaking. But their corners quiet. Dirt smudging X's hoodie. May's scarf. Elon's jeans. He'd raced busiest, biggest. But this feels vast. A. Child's hope guiding his hands like this. X asks, patting soil. And May, Nods. Perfect. Give them love, they'll grow. Elon's chest warms. He'd pushed, aimed high, but X's, I tried to fix it, cracks it a lesson in staying he hadn't learned. May sits back dirt on her fingers and looks at Elon soft. You were like him. Always fixing. Never still. Took me years to see you needed roots too. Elon's throat burns, her voice, her faith. A quiet he'd run from, didn't think it mattered. He says gruff thought moving was enough. She shakes her head. Moving's half stings the rest. X sprinkles seeds humming, and Elon watches the park's light pooling. Daisy swaying kids, laughing a piece he'd missed. He's teaching me? He says, low and May. Smiles. Good teacher, listen close. They finish soil-padded water sinking, the garden a small vow under the sun. X yawns, leaning into May, and she hugs him. Soft proud of you, gardener. Elon's eyes sting. He'd built grand things, but this boy, this patch feels bigger. A faith and care he'd let fade. Thanks, he says gruff to May, and she nods. Plant more keeps you human. The park hums, but they linger. X's, hand in his. A crack widening, not loud but true. He'd been the dreamer. His life a roar, but X's tears rethink it. A quiet blooming in a seed, small hope twilight drapes the Musk family's Austin home. The living room. Aglow with the soft light of a single lamp, its warmth spilling over worn furniture. A couch sagging from X's jumps. A coffee table cluttered with books, and a half-built model rocket. Elon Musk sits cross-legged on the floor, his gray hoodie smudged with dirt from yesterday's planting. A mug of tea, cooling beside him, X, his 5-year-old son. Sprawls nearby his own hoodie, loose coloring a picture of daisies, with crayons, yellow petals, vivid stems, tall. His tongue poking out, in focus May Musk, silver hair tucked behind her ears, lounges in an armchair. Her flowered scarf draped over the back, flipping through a gardening magazine she'd brought from the hotel. The wilted Daisy's memory. X's tears, I picked it for you, but it died. Lingers a quiet thread weaving through their evening, its planted seeds, a vow now rooted in the backyard's flower bed. Elon glances. At X, the boy's crayon scratching softly, and feels a warmth he hadn't known he'd missed. A crack opened by those tears, widened by their moonlit planting mornings tending, and May's words in the park stayings the rest. He'd rushed work plans, always away building a life he thought was grand. But X's sorrow for a flower's loss had grounded him. A child's care reshaping his endless drive. Looking good, buddy, he says, voice gruff but gentle, nodding to the drawing. X looks up, blue eyes bright. It's our daisies for you. Elon's throat catches for you the same words from that kitchen night. A gift he'd nearly missed. May sets her magazine down, smiling soft. He's got an eye, takes after me, not your scribbles. Elon chuckles low. Fair minds all blueprints. X giggles, adding a green stem. And Elon leans back. The room's quiet. Wrapping them crickets, chirping outside, a faint hum of traffic. A piece he'd let slip in his race. He'd been the doer, his life a storm. Oh, but X's tears shifted. A faith intending he'd ignored now blooming here in this moment. Tell me about it. He says soft, pointing to the